priest or a rabbi is that you can always get parking at a hospital right near the entrance. It's a joke. The clergy parking right there. Kohanim have a huge advantage. You know what it is? They don't have to work for a living. So you know the story is, right? We talked about this a little last week in Parshas Truma, that the Kohanim don't have crops and they don't own anything. They don't have to. They're involved in holy activities all day. They take your behemoths and they shech them up and they serve them on the mizbeach, and then they have to sweep out all the blood and guts and everything, and they're busy like with all this holy stuff, right? So they don't have time to go work in the fields. They don't have time. They don't own any crops. They don't own any land. You have to take care of them. So they get out of having to deal with all these mundane things like I got to go plant a harvest. Oh, I'd love to learn with you right now, Levi, but I've got to go deal with my avocados.
I'm refinancing,
and it's like so they don't have the burden of having to make a regular parnasa. Their parnasa is activity for God. So that's a high thing.
The Kohanim, the priests, are to be obsessed with life and to have nothing to do with the dead. Priests have to wash their feet and hands before going into service. So cleanliness is a big deal in Judaism.
Yes, it's next to godliness.
You're supposed to wash your hands before you daven. And
yes. You know how the song goes, right? There's a little kid's song. It goes,
hit it.
You gotta be neat, you gotta be clean. You gotta give your mom a break from her washing machine. And all Jewish children be starting their own Seder B'ni Kayom.
What's Seder B'ni Kayom?
Oh, it's a set schedule of cleanliness. It's time to be clean. Time to be neat. It's time to give your mom a break. Whatever. Okay. What are they talking about? Shtush? Shtush?
Shtush.
Oh, is Gary Greg in there? Hey, how's it going? Brandon, what's up?
So, Kohanim are not allowed to marry hookers.
Hookers?
Yeah.
Where does it say hookers?
It says prostitutes.
Does it actually say prostitutes?
I don't know. You know the Hebrew.
Zona. Okay,
Zona?
you know what it really means?
Loose women?
Okay, you want to know what what it means?
Yeah.
If a Jewish... They don't have to marry a virgin.
Right, because they can marry a widow.
They can marry a widow.
Kohen Gadol.
Right. Which we'll get into in a second. This is a good topic. Because you always see somebody saying, oh, I'm kosher for a Kohen. No, I can't marry a Kohen. And you know what I find out? No matter which way they say it, they're often wrong. Because they don't know the halacha. The halacha is you don't have to be a basula. Basula is a virgin, right? You don't have to be basula to marry a Kohen. You hear a lot of Kohanim think, oh, I have to marry a virgin. There's not going to be any... No, you don't have to marry a virgin at all. However, if she had sex with somebody she's allowed to marry, that's not a problem. But if she had sex with someone she's not allowed to marry, then she can no longer marry a Kohen. So if she had sex with a goy just one time, it's over. If a goy shtupped her even one shtup,
even just the tip.
I'm not positive, but let's just say she had sex with a goy.
Okay.
Right? Just one time. For 5 minutes, she can no longer ever marry a Kohen. But conversely, if she banged the entire, YU basketball team, right? And their baseball team.
In one night.
Yeah, she banged the entire UA basketball team and baseball team, right? And debate team, right? In one night, and those guys are all Jewish, no problem. She can still marry Cohen.
She might have some issues.
Well, I'm not going to get into that, but I'm just saying, she can bang, she could bang all kinds of guys as long as they're Jewish.
She bang,
so they
bang, and we bang.
Right. So the idea that, you can't marry a hooker, I don't understand, because if she charged money and to bang Jewish guys, that's not going to make a difference. She's still okay for a Cohen. But if she one time banged a non-Jew, it's over. And what's interesting is, if a non-Jew raped a Jewish woman, she can no longer be with a Kohen. Right?
Yeah.
So that's a real problem, because if a woman marries a Kohen and then she gets raped, she can't go back to her husband. That's really sad. And she causes divorce.
But I'm sure some rabbis would try to find ways around.
No, there's not much you can do. That's the halacha. She can't, But you mentioned the Kohen Gadol. I want to mention this too. Kohen Gadol, his requirements are a little higher. He can't be with a woman who had anybody. So no divorcees, no widows, and he has to marry a virgin. But there's a reason for that. He can't have seconds. He's got to be the first. You know what I mean? So the problem is, if every Kohen says, "Well, I don't need to be the Kohen Gadol, and I'm just going to marry
anyone who's appropriate.
Anyone who's the minimum standard," it could end up that we don't have a Kohen Gadol. If Mashiach was to come tomorrow, who would be the Kohen Gadol? Do any of these guys qualify? We might have to wait until their kids grew up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We may have our Kohen Gadol today may be 6 years old. You know what I'm saying?
So they want to know if these are cheap sunglasses. I paid $10 for them at Walgreens. So.
That you can't get, and they're fine quality. What's the company name?
Beats me.
Yeah, Beats Me Company. You can't get a better name than Beats Me.
Physically blemished priests cannot serve in the sanctuary. So like a retarded priest cannot serve in the sanctuary. It's like he can't like that.
I don't know if that's true, but I know let the things that. Okay, we get it. Sit down. I don't know about that, but let's say it was real simple. He lost a finger. He can't do any of it. It's just like if he lost a finger or a hand or an eye or a testicle.
Yeah.
Or somebody cut off his whole
stem.
Then he's done.
Divination's forbidden, but the leader of Israel could use the Urim and Thummim.
You say that so well.
Thank you. But only the national leader for national questions, and its use died out with King David.
Did it? Where do you have a mucker for that?
Dennis Prager said so.
Oh Jesus! I don't know that to be true. The Urim and Thummim, I think it said that it stopped working, if I remember correctly, later, like in the times of Menashe. You know who King Menashe is?
Yeah.
I think, don't quote me, that one of the things that happened was the Urim and Thummim stopped working around his time.
Mm-hmm. Greg, the Russian Jewish American, complains that the rabbis guard their hot daughters like crazy.
Who does?
The ones in the pencil skirts.
No, which rabbis do that?
I think Chabad.
Oh, I don't know anything about Chabad.
And so they should.
Let me ask you something. When a Chabad, this is my question for Chabads, right? When a Chabad woman, right? Because my problems with Chabad, right? When she's when a Chabad woman's getting it, and she's getting really aroused, right? Does she scream out, "Oh God, oh God, oh God," or does she scream out, "Yechi Adonenu Rabbeinu Rebbe Mashiach"? I mean, which is her God? It's like we scream, "Oh God," and does she scream? Is it the same God, or is she screaming?
I tend to scream Jesus Christ, sweet Jesus.
That would not surprise me with you.
My Lord Jesus Christ.
That would not surprise me.
Jesus, the King Mashiach, Rebbe King Mashiach from Nazareth.
This is interesting. You became a ger, right? And you were into Jesus before. So you came from the idea of this man is God. How do you stem that with going, or whatever, with Chabad? Do you see them in the same way?
I've never encountered Chabad Jews who believe that the Rebbe is in any way divine. Have that